Hey guys, welcome to a very exciting quarterfinal from the FIDE World Cup 2019. We have Maxime on the white pieces. He is a French GM with a FIDE rating of 2774 and currently number 5 in the world. And his opponent on the black pieces is Aronian, who is an Armenian Grandmaster with a FIDE rating of 2758 and currently number 8 in the world. Quick fact about Aronian, CNN calls him the David Beckham of chess. So with that information, let's get into the game. This is a very exciting game with white and black fighting for a win here, and there are a number of moments where both sides have chances. So let's get into the game. E4. That's what Maxime opens with, and we have E5, Knight to F3, Knight to C6, and Bishop to C4. This is now the Italian game. Knight to F6, D3, just defending all the attacks, and Bishop to C5. All of these moves have been played before. This Bishop to C5 now is a Juaco piano opening, and that's exactly how you say it. It's the Juaco piano. There are many different ways that people say it, but I think this is the correct one. Now we have C3, A6, and castles, kingside castles by white. D6, defending the pawn, and A4. We have castles by black as well. Now rook to E1, just defending everything, and these are all the moves, pretty standard moves that have been played before. So bishop to A7, retreating the bishop just in case there is pawn pushing here on this D file, D4 square, but for now the bishop is safe. We have H3, not allowing the knight or the bishop to come to G4 square. And we have H6, black wants to do the same thing, not allow this knight or the bishop to come to G5 square. We have knight B to D2, now developing moves, and rook to E8. Black puts his rook on the E file as well. B4, now obviously trying to open up the queen side with trying to get some counterplay. And bishop to E6, it's a proactive move trying to get rid of this light square bishop. That's why these two bishops are staring at each other. So bishop takes E6, rook takes E6. This is the first exchange of the game, and both players now get rid of their light square bishop, and they are down a bishop pair. So knight to F1, queen to D7, and we have bishop to E3. This is a new move. All of the previous moves had been played before, and from here it's a completely new game. None of the chess databases have this position on the board. So it's a completely new move for both the players, and let's see how the game goes. So bishop takes E3. Now knight takes E3. That was the plan. That's why he brought the knight back, because he wanted to recapture with the knight. And now we have D5, trying to attack the center, trying to open either of the files. We have B5, trying to get some exchanges going, and knight to E7. Black is actually at a loss here if he decides to exchange, because we can show it to you. If A captures B5, then we get A captures B5, rook captures A1, and queen captures A1. Which means now the white pieces control the A file, and this is the only open file on the board. Soon this queen is going to B2, and this rook is coming to A1, and then the rook will control the entire file, and black will have some issues dealing with this nuisance later. So none of that was played. After B5 we just have knight to E7, and now C4, just advancing the pawns. D4, closing down the center, and this is really a good plan for black, because right now black doesn't have much room to move. I mean, look at all these pieces, they are kind of stuck. This knight cannot really go anywhere. It has to go to the king side, and then from here it can go to either of these two squares, F4 or H4. Same thing with this knight. I mean, the queen is blocking its way. Look at this rook. This rook cannot go anywhere for now. All it can do is occupy the d6 square, but that's about it. So closing down the center was a good move, and now we have knight to f5, hoping that one of this knight captures, and then you can attack the rook with your pawn here on f5. Rook to e8, not immediately capturing, but because if you capture now, all black is going to do is put his rooks, and now you have doubled rooks on the e file. And now knight f3 to h4. So now if this knight captures, I'm going to bring the other knight and not allow black to double up the rooks on the e file. And we have knight to g6, not really capturing the knight, but now creating some breathing space for all of its pieces and going from this position to knight to g6. We have g3, and we'll show you why knight captures would be a mistake, because if knight captures g6 on the white side, then f captures g6, and now you are attacking this piece has to move again. And after you move, say let's say you move the knight to g3, now you have an open file, semi-open f file for the black, and it's going to put all of its pieces right here and control this f file, which is really dangerous for the white queen. You don't really want to do that, because then you will have to play something like rook to a2, try to get it into the game, and you might have some issues there. So none of that was played. After g3, we have knight takes h4, and now the other knight captures h4. We have queen to e7. Wonderful move, because now this queen wants to infiltrate and come to b4 and try to attack some of these pawns. I mean, once the knight makes its re-maneuvering, it can go to here, and even this is a wonderful outpost for the knight. So there is some time. Right now you cannot directly get to this square, the c3 square, but eventually if the black's knight can make it here, then it's going to be wonderful for the black knight. So that's the plan here. That's the plan behind queen to e7 move. Queen to c1, not allowing this queen move here to become such a big threat. And now we have knight to d7. Just trying to re-maneuver the knight. It's going to c5 square. From there, it's going to attack some of these pieces. And in such positions, it's pretty common to have knight sacrifices. So white always has to watch out for such knight sacrifices in such positions. But we have queen to a3, just protecting, defending, and now asking if you want to capture. Let's trade the queens off and get these queens off the board. But knight to c5. Now Aronian doesn't really want a queen trade, because he thinks his position is much better and he wants to keep the advantage going, because he has a very nice pawn here on d4, and he doesn't want to give up this pawn, which is protected by the e5 pawn. So it's a pretty good pawn, and you will see in the game in the future. Just in case you are wondering what would happen if queen captures this queen here on a3, we'll show that variation to you. Queen captures a3, rook captures a3, and now we have a5 just closing down everything, and this is leading to a dead draw here from here. But after knight to c5, declining the queen trade, we have f4. Obviously f4 is a great idea, because now he wants to push the pawn and close down the center, or asking it to capture it and open up some files. But this is kind of double-edged here, because if say, and this is what was played in the game, e captures f4. Now we have knight to f5, not immediately recapturing, but first attacking the queen. And from there, queen goes to, once the queen moves, queen goes to f8. Now we have g captures f4, finally recapturing the pawn. And this position is completely fine for now, but there is a small hidden flaw, and there was little poison to this position which Maxime did not calculate precisely. And the issue is rook to f6. Now this rook is attacking the knight and it's attacking the piece here, the pawn here on f4. So let's see what happens. Obviously the next move is he's going to push the pawns and then try to block this queen off, get the second rook into the game, and try to put some pressure along the g file. Rook to f1. We're trying to defend everything. Now rook takes f5, and this is an amazing move. The reason why I did not ask you guys to pause the video and find it is it's really difficult to find this line, and I mean it's crazy how these grandmasters even find these. But I mean, if you predicted this, if you predicted that rook to f6 was played just to capture on f5, then you are an amazing player. If not, we'll show you why and how an amazing attack you can get because of this one rook sacrifice. E takes f5, you have to accept it. And now rook to e3. Look at this amazing rook move. You have a rook here on e3 that is immovable. I mean, how are you going to get this off the board? So we have rook a to e1, and finally attacking, but you have a queen that can defend it, and then it can come to this position. So we have queen to e7. Obviously that was the plan, so that's what he's going to do. There was an alternative here, and the alternative is rook takes h3. After this rook takes h3, you get queen to a2, trying to get the queen out of this wonderful file that rook is protecting, because now the real threat was knight to e4. Once you move the queen and defend this e4 square, then that becomes a threat because you cannot capture as your queen is hanging. So you don't want this pawn to be pinned. White doesn't want the pawn to be pinned, which is why he had to play queen to a2. After queen to a2, you have knight takes d3, now attacking this piece. And finally, once you move, you get a passed pawn, passed d pawn, which is pretty amazing. And in such positions, when you have a passed pawn, it is much better. So for a rook, you got two pawns and a passed pawn, which is pretty amazing. But none of this was played after queen to e7. So after queen to e7, we have rook takes e3. But instead, there was another move that could also benefit. So let's say queen to h4 instead of rook captures here. You move the queen, now unpinning this pawn here, and now you get queen to e6. You allow this captures if he is not careful enough for two rooks here. But obviously grandmasters will not fall for this, and you will get rook takes e3. Now you get queen takes e3 with check, and once the king moves, then you get knight takes d3. And now this is a commanding position where you have a knight and a queen. And trust me, this couple, when in such tight situations, is an amazing attacker. You cannot underestimate the power of these two pieces, queen and a knight together in an attack. But none of that was played. Rook takes e3 was played, and after rook takes e3, we have queen takes e3 with check. King to h2, the king has to move, or you have to block with this, but that would be losing for you, because then the knight is coming here and there is no defense against this capture. So none of that was played. After king to h2, we have queen to e2 check, which was played in the game. But here Aronian missed a completely amazing engine line. Because it was an engine line, he was not able to find it, and everybody was just begging to bring this knight closer into the attack, either captures or get this knight here. I mean, do something and get the knight closer into the attack. So we'll show you, instead of queen to e2, if he would have played knight to e4, trying to bring this knight closer, so instead of giving a check, if this is what he would have played, then he would have got queen to b2. You have to bring this because now you are threatening checkmate, and after this you get queen to g3 check first. Now this piece is defended, and king to h1, king, that's the only move king has. Queen to h3, queen captures h3 with check. We get king to g1 and king to e3, again with check. King to g5, now you're taking the king up the board, and queen to g3 check again. We have king to h1. Now you get queen takes d3, and look at this, you have a passed pawn here. This is how you create a passed pawn of your own, and you have a knight and a queen pair that is attacking your king. It's not easy for white to get out of this position here. The computer says this is minus 6.33, which means black is in a great position to checkmate. After this, you have to move your rook to e1, trying to attack, trying to get some counterplay, remove at least one piece, and try to find common grounds, drawing grounds here. But knight to d2, and there is nothing. This is now stopping the queen from entering into the defense, and there is nothing black can do about this. But Aronian missed this wonderful idea, and he instead played queen to e2 check. From here it was king to g1 and knight takes d3. Finally he brings his knight closer, and he would have still, whatever white played, he would have still probably given a check, and it was not too late to enter into the previous variation that we showed. But this is what happened. We have b takes a6 and b takes a6. Now we have queen to b3, trying to get this queen somehow active. But for now there is nothing white can do. White has to just wait and see what black does. So it's black who is in a great position, but it's slowly slipping away. So queen to e3 check. We have king to h2, queen to d2 check. We have king to g1 and queen to e3. And this is all okay. Trying to repeat some moves, trying to get closer to the 40th move so you can get some extra time on your hands. But there was a better combination, and here is the better combination. Knight takes f4. Not a check, but just waiting, because now the threat is queen to g2 checkmate. So you have to do something about this. After queen to f3, trying to block this check, we get knight to e2 check, and king to h1 and queen to c2. Now this is a much better combination, because you are also going after this pawn, and this pass pawn that you have created will protect this knight. Then you can move the queen around, and second, it will assist in getting another queen into the game and winning position for you. But none of this was played, and after queen to e3 check, we have king to h2 again. And he could have repeated the same moves again and gotten a draw, but the position was so great that Aronian thought he could definitely win this game. He just had to find the correct combination, which he tried a lot, but he couldn't. And after, say, h5 was played, now his idea is to bring this pawn to h4 and try to give this a checkmate scenario. But we'll see what happens. Queen to d1, that's what was played, and this is the most critical moment of the game, which decides the complete outcome of the game. So please guys, if you have some time, pause the video here and tell me what would you do if you were with the black pieces here. Take a few seconds. There are a few options that you have. You don't have any more checks, by the way, so either you have to play h4 or you have to go away with the queen, or you have to make some moves with the knight. Tell me what you would have done. I will show you a couple of variations before showing what was exactly played in the game. The first variation is knight to f2. You could bring the knight closer. Now you are attacking this piece, and you also control the h1 square, and we're going to get queen takes h5, and the game can continue from here. The second variation is, instead of knight to f2, instead of bringing the knight here, we go knight captures f4. It's the same scenario. We get queen to f3, now trying to trade off the queens. Knight to d3, declining the trade, because if you want to trade, I want to get a pawn closer to queening, so I don't really want to do that. And this knight now protects this queening square, so it would be a blunder if white actually decides to capture here on e3. So, not doing that, f6, white has to create some counterplay, and now queen captures f3 is finally ready to push the pawns, and rook captures f3 and knight to b2, trying to go after the pawns, getting the king into the game. Not like that, but one move at a time, like this, unless you capture the pawn, then you can jump in from here. And this game would have ended in a draw, complete draw. So, but after queen to d1, after losing a lot of chances that Aronian had to checkmate the white king, or even at least gain an advantage, he played h4, and this is the losing move. So again guys, pause the video if you want and try to find why is this a losing move, and what could white do in from here to win this game. I mean, from completely losing to completely winning the game. It's just this pawn move made all the difference. So we're going to show it to you. Rook to f3. The reason why queen was brought to d1 was to make sure that you don't allow the queen to come to g2 and give a check, g3 and give a check. So how do you stop that? The only way to stop it was getting your rook from f1 to f3. Okay, if you want to put your rook to f3, what do you have to do? You have to protect it. And how can you protect it? You have to protect it by bringing your queen to d1, and this is what Maxime calculated, and he calculated it precisely, and he was counting on this h4 move, because now the queen trade is inevitable, and once you trade the queens off the board, all white has is a knight and against a wonderful rook. So it's always better to have a rook against knight in the endgame. So here we have the queen trades after knight to b2. Obviously you have to play this. If you capture my queen, I'm going to capture your queen, and that's what happens. And Maxime was really happy here. Everybody who was watching online is like, Aronian, what did you do? Because you had a winning position, and from there it's just so much stress that goes on in the tournament, and he ended up from a winning position to a losing position. So rook takes e3, knight takes d1, now attacking this rook, but rook obviously has time to defend. Rook goes to d3, now attacks both these pieces. There is no way you can defend both the pieces. Knight to b2, now attacking this pawn here and this rook, but rook captures d4 and protects this pawn, so there is nothing you can do. Also, this knight was attacking the a4 pawn. But c5, because once you move this, once you start pushing your your pawn, it becomes really difficult for the king to enter into the game because of rook. The rook cut off this file, and then the king can just march up the board and gobble up all your pawns, and then you don't have anything to show for. So first, not capturing, but with c5, because you have time to capture. I mean, this rook has to make 1, 2 moves. I mean, you will attack. As soon as you attack, this knight has to move, and the knight is going to capture either here or here. So you don't have to worry about the pawns. But after c5, we have rook to d5, now attacking the pawn, and knight takes a4, now finally defending this pawn as well. But it's too late. Now king enters the game, king to g2. Sorry guys, I think the interface is a little bit slower, which is why you see the moves a little slower than usual, but hopefully it fixes itself. I haven't had really issues with the interface after the first video that I shot, but we'll see. After king to g2, now the plan is getting the king into the game, gobble up this pawn, and eliminate, take the help of the rook here. I'm at the loss of words, and eliminate these 2 pawns. Try to protect this pawn, and then play the game on the king's side. So that's the idea, and king to f8. Black does the same, wants to get the king into the game and try to hold it from there. King to f3, king to e7, and both players try to rush with their king, and king to g4, now finally going after this pawn. Knight to b6, attacking this wonderful rook here, and rook captures c5. I mean, why not? If you attack my rook, I'm just going to capture it. King to d6, now attacking this rook again, but now rook to a5, just defending and cutting the king off from this file, and also attacking this piece here on e6. Knight captures c4, rook captures a6 with check, and king to e7. Now the king has to go back and defend all its pieces. King captures a4, finally you eliminate the h-pawn, and now you can try to get your own passed pawn here. Knight to d6 and rook to d6. Now rook captures d6, and another amazing moment where Maxime calculates everything precisely and says, if I get rid of your knight, doesn't matter what I have, because these 3 pawns against the 2 pawns that you have are going to be enough for me, and I am definitely going to win this game. So he captures it with the rook, captures the knight with the rook, and king captures d6. King to g5, and now king to e7, trying to get closer again into the game. After f6 check, this was the final position in which Aronian finally said that I cannot defend this position anymore, and there is nothing I can do. So he resigned the game here, and Maxime won an amazing game. There is nothing Black could have done after the great blunder of h5. The reason why he resigned is because even if you capture this king is going to come to f5, and you're not going to be able to move, and then you have to make a move with the king. So we'll show it to you. G captures f6, now king to f5, and now king to f8. You have to move king away from the protection of this pawn, simply because this square is covered by the king, and you have to make a move. You are out of moves because both of these pawns are doubled up and there is nothing you can do. As soon as you move away from the pawn, king is going to capture on f6 and now also attack this pawn. There is nothing black king can do. I mean, he can try to defend it by hiding in the corner, but white has 2 pieces compared to 1 here which is already being attacked, and there is nothing black can do about this. So he will try king to g8, h4, getting this pawn even closer to queening, king to f8, h5, king to g8, h6, king to h8, you just have to keep repeating the moves, and finally once you are away from the square, I mean you have to go to the square. Right now if you go here, then what I'm going to do is, next move I'm going to play h7, and then you cannot bring your king here because it will be occupied. So the only position is you have to go even further, and then you can easily queen. So he had to play king to h8, and now that there is no king defending this pawn, king takes f7. Simple. And if you're wondering if this is a stalemate, then nope, because your king has this one square left, king to h7. After king to h7, all it has to do either is repeat these moves or then capture, and you are going to promote this pawn pretty soon, because your king is guarding this wonderful f8 square, which is the queen square. So f5, you're going to push your pawn, king takes h6, and now king to e7. On the next move you're going to play, the next three moves you're going to get a queen into the game. King to g7, f6, king to g8, f7 check, king to g7, and now f8 with the queen. And so after f8, bringing the queen into the game, and you give king a check, king moves to g6, and this is mate in 4. If you guys have some time, pause the video and try to find the mate. It's going to be pretty simple. I'm going to show it to you. Queen to f4, king to h5, queen to g3, king to h6, king to f6, king to h7, and finally queen to g6, and this is checkmate. So back in back at this position on move 53, this is when Aronian said, I cannot defend anymore, and he resigned the game because he knew all of this that followed. This was an amazing game, amazing quarterfinal where Aronian had a lot of chances to win, but he blundered with this h4 move, and after this position, Maxime just capitalized everything and had a wonderful win. This takes Maxime to the semi-final against Timur Rajabov, and I am pretty excited to see what happens in the semi-finals. I will be covering those games as well, and we'll take it from there. Hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you have any questions, comments or concerns, please let me know in the comment section below. And that's all from me. Namaste. See you next time.